Welcome to World Wrap, your global snapshot for Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. Here's what's making headlines around the world. Tensions simmer in South Asia, China seeks to bolster alliances, and Europe grapples with economic realities. We'll have those stories and more. In South Asia, the focus remains intensely on relations between India and Pakistan. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in his first public remarks since last week's missile strikes, stated late yesterday that India will not hesitate to use force to neutralize what it terms terrorist camps in Pakistan, calling this approach a new normal. He also emphasized that any dialogue with Pakistan would only be on terrorism and Pakistan-administered Kashmir. This comes after a week of military escalation following a deadly attack on tourists in India-administered Kashmir. Pakistan, which reported civilian casualties from India's strikes, has denied involvement and warned of a decisive response to any further incursions. Both sides have reported continued, though less intense, cross-border firing over the past 24 hours. The United States and other international powers continue to urge restraint. In Southeast Asia, the ASEAN Secretary-General is on a working visit to New Zealand this week, urging stronger ties with external partners to address global trade challenges and promote regional stability. This follows a series of high-level ASEAN dialogues with countries including Japan and Canada. Vietnam and Belarus issued a joint statement today, announcing the establishment of a strategic partnership, signaling deepening ties. In technology news from East Asia, Tencent Cloud and Vector Group's offshore company today launched Avamo, described as Japan's first AI-powered avatar video generation service, tailored for the Japanese market and promising significant reductions in video production time and cost. Meanwhile, a new Akamai study released today highlighted significant API security vulnerabilities across the Asia-Pacific region, with API-related incidents costing enterprises an average of over $580,000 in the past year. Watch for further diplomatic efforts concerning the India-Pakistan situation and trade discussions involving ASEAN. In China, Beijing is actively working to strengthen its international alliances, particularly with developing nations, amidst ongoing trade tensions with the United States. The fourth ministerial meeting of the China Community of Latin American and Caribbean States Forum opened in Beijing today. President Xi Jinping addressed the forum, stating China stands ready to join hands with Latin American countries to counter what he termed unilateralism and protectionism. This engagement follows closely on President Xi's visit to Russia last week. Economically, Asian stock markets, including in Singapore and Hong Kong, saw a relief rally today following an agreement announced Monday between U.S. and Chinese officials in Geneva to temporarily slash mutual tariffs for 90 days and continue negotiations, a move President Trump called a total reset. Across Africa, the 16th Africa Bank 4.0 Summit kicks off today in Nairobi, Kenya. The three-day conference will focus on innovation for a sustainable future, building Africa's inclusive and resilient banking ecosystem. It aims to bring together industry experts and decision-makers to explore how digital transformation can drive financial inclusion and create sustainable banking solutions across the continent. In other news, the International Conference on Cultural Heritage in Africa concluded in Nairobi last Friday, with a renewed commitment to protecting and promoting the continent's diverse heritage. South Africa continues to be active in G20 working groups, focusing on trade, investment, and women's empowerment. In Australia, battery recycling firm Lithium announced today it has broadened its recycling deal with electric vehicle giant BYD Australia to include battery energy storage systems, or BESS. The agreement aims to extend lithium-ion battery recycling capabilities to New Zealand and the wider Pacific Islands. This comes as Iberdrola Australia yesterday confirmed the installation of the first row of solar modules at its major Broadsound Solar Plus storage project in Queensland. Across the Pacific, ASEAN Secretary-General Dr. Kao Kim Horn is in New Zealand from May 12th to 14th for discussions on strengthening ASEAN-New Zealand cooperation. In the Middle East, the humanitarian crisis in Gaza remains a grave concern. Reports from Monday indicated that Israel's plan to expand its military offensive and implement a new aid distribution scheme is drawing further condemnation from international aid organizations who warn it could worsen starvation. The International Crisis Group released a statement yesterday detailing the dire situation and the risks of the proposed Israeli plan. This comes as Israel reportedly conducted strikes across Gaza, Yemen, Lebanon, and Syria on Monday. Talks between Iran and the E3, that's the UK, France, and Germany, regarding nuclear issues took place in Rome last week, though details remain limited. The US Houthi ceasefire in Yemen, mediated by Oman, is still in its very early stages, with hopes it will hold. In Germany, newly elected Chancellor Friedrich Merz continues to shape his government's agenda after a challenging second-round vote to secure the chancellorship last week. His early diplomatic visits included Poland and France. Across the European Union, discussions are ongoing regarding responses to US trade policies and measures to enhance the bloc's strategic autonomy. The European Commission has also recently backed new renewable energy projects in Finland and Estonia. In the UK, the economic focus remains on the Bank of England's decision last Thursday to cut interest rates and its potential impact on inflation and growth. Today, the European Parliament and other EU institutions are preparing for Europe Day celebrations over the coming weekend, marking the 75th anniversary of the Schuman Declaration. In Russia, the country continues its Victory Day commemorations, which saw Chinese President Xi Jinping's prominent attendance last week, reinforcing close ties between Moscow and Beijing. The war in Ukraine continues, with both sides reporting ongoing engagements. Across Latin America, China is hosting the fourth ministerial meeting of the China-CELAC Forum in Beijing today, aiming to deepen cooperation and present a united front against what President Xi Jinping described as unilateralism and protectionism. In Brazil, the Supreme Court continues its examination of charges related to an alleged coup plot under former President Bolsonaro. The country is also still celebrating its selection as the host for the 2027 FIFA Women's World Cup. Argentina is seeing its government push economic reforms, which has reportedly lowered sovereign risk and boosted investor confidence, though high inflation remains a major challenge. In Mexico, state oil company Pemex is reportedly planning to re-enter capital markets after the June elections to address its significant debt. The broader region continues to face economic headwinds, with recent forecasts pointing to modest growth. In sports, major European football leagues like Serie A in Italy saw key matches over the weekend, with Atalanta beating Roma to secure a Champions League spot. Sheffield United in England also booked a place in the Premier League promotion playoff final. In tech news, beyond Tencent's AI avatar launch in Japan, gene editing company Editas Medicine announced its first quarter results and updates on preclinical data for in vivo CRISPR editing at a major scientific conference this week, and the IEE is marking Global Engineering Day today. That's World Wrap for Tuesday, May 13th, 2025. Like and follow us for more daily updates from around the globe. See you tomorrow.